Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the My Pillow guy is now in charge of the Corona Task Force,
So
which
what's
tells you
Fauci doing?
he's been dismissed.
So he's no longer associated with the
No,
administration?
no,
Oh man, he was a cool. I liked Fauci.
no. Fauci was the only bright spot in this administration.
I hope maybe Diso and Mero can like pick him up or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that he'll be employed by the next president as well,
Yeah,
Biden.
no, yeah, it would be cool if in the meantime now he could come out and talk his real shit. You
Yeah,
know, he's
absolutely.
not afraid to.
But he wasn't afraid to talk pretty real shit, even when he was at the pleasure of the president.
Right, right. But we know there's limits to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's got to be. I'm assuming. Um, well, that's too bad. I liked Fauci.
Well, he'll be back. You know, that's the good thing about him. We're going to get somebody who knows how to work government, and he's going to need people like Fauci in
So,
his administration.
Fauci around before Trump?
Always, always since Reagan.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Wow.
He's
So
he's
he got
he's
rid of
been
a legacy.
he's been in that same position since fucking Reagan. That is not a joke.
Wow.
He's the world's most foremost expert on this type of virus.
Yeah, but Raul, what you're not considering is the internet and YouTube.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there are very smart. Uh, no, it's not it's Raul. How could you? How could you laugh? There are very smart
yes, like
doctors and scientists on YouTube who, they're so smart that no one wants their information to get out there.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry, QAnon and all that. Yes.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you said that because I've been mispronouncing it in my head this whole time. Luckily, I've never said it out loud, but I've been pronouncing it like a character in the show Power, like 50 Cent's character.
Yeah,
Kanan.
exactly.
Yeah, I've been pronouncing it Kanan.
Actually, that's a pretty cool word, but that's way too cool for the people that you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's pretty sad. It's a sad state of affairs when you knock off the world's foremost expert, recognized by everybody, the world's foremost expert.
Wait a minute. I'm starting to pick up some conspiracy theory. If Kanan was a character in a show called Power who corrupted the main character's child and turned him against him, isn't that what QAnon is kind of about? Corrupting children?
Oh, yes, that's true.
See? Power was trying to tell us. And the name of the show is Power. Aren't these very powerful people?
Yes.
See? It's all, you just got to watch TV, man.
You've blown me away with your TV conspiracies, my friend.
And it all came from a mispronunciation.
See? And it all came from a mispronunciation and
they gotta
misassociation.
They gotta hide it a little bit. Because if they had called that character QAnon, that show would not have gone on past a couple of episodes.
Oh no, the powers that was it Deep State? That's it. Deep State will take it all out. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Hey,
what's up, Damien?
Hey guys.
Damien, I was just telling Flav here that I was about to call you Mike, and I was like, no, not gonna do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I was telling Flav here that Trump has replaced Dr. Fauci with the My Pillow guy, and I'm not even joking.
Now I have to admit I don't know who the My Pillow guy is.
Who is My Pillow?
Does he sell pillows?
He sells pillows, and and he's a very creepy looking man.
Okay, but are they good pillows though?
They're kind of crappy pillows, to be honest. They sell them at Walmart. My mom got one once. It was like suffocating in heat. It was horrible.
Really? That started falling apart?
It didn't fall apart. It was just like it's just a big hot center of your bed. Who needs that?
Yeah. See, I have a product that is a nice product. I bought from the dollar store for about $5. It's hopefully it's not real leather for $5. It's probably not, but it's a nice case, and you open it up, and it's got everything you need from fingernail clippers to toenail clippers
Oh
to
yeah, like a
tweezers.
gentleman's set. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
With a grooming kit, but it
Yeah,
could be
I would think that ladies might be able to use it too, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Um, but yeah, there's definitely things in here I don't even know what they are. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, like things for like cleaning your cuticles and like other
Yeah, he's right. He's right.
Oh, okay.
articularies in your body. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sure.
Um,
There's
some
a
of
few
those things,
things.
even at the fact that there's tweezers in there too,
Yeah.
is good. I mean, these are things like for grooming, sure, but like there's also unique situations where like you get a piece of metal in your skin or like you get like a weird injury, and like those grooming tools could actually be used to help
Right.
address a strange wound or clean it out.
Sure. And yeah, definitely the tweezers, because I remember last year when I got the the biggest splinter I've ever received, and I got it like in my toe, and had I
Yeesh.
had these tweezers.
Were you like barefoot on a wood floor or something?
Yeah, I was at an Airbnb, and it was long story short, it was like I was kind of in the roof. It's like one of those roof rooms,
Sure.
and I had to go up this series of steps that weren't really steps. And yeah, long
Oh.
story short, there was some wood that could have been finished better. Positive thing was I was moved to a room like on the regular floor after that. Still a little bit of a loft bed situation, but a regular loft bed, not like climbing all the way,
Not a steep climb, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not a steep
I'm not,
climb,
I have a huge fear of heights, so I don't
Uh-huh.
like those type of situations, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I could see that being a little bit weird. I mean, especially, the room was like big enough where, I had to go past the little room first,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I was in my bedroom. So like, yeah, I was okay. But when I was younger, I used to sleepwalk. So I used to always say to myself, like,
Oh, no.
I probably never want to be in a situation like that. But yeah, I think there would have been enough room.
Especially as we get older, man. Our joints are not the same. And
You're telling me, yeah, I don't even. Oh man, believe me. Yeah, I've my joints have accelerated. I am wise in my joints. I could
yeah, they
probably.
let you know, right? They let you know. It's not like something you can hide.
Yeah, I mean, really, I probably should be predicting the weather. I probably could be on
I
some.
have the same superpower that is useless, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not useless. You could be a
Well, it's
meteorologist.
useless here in Arizona because there's never raining.
Oh, it's only for rain, right?
Yeah,
And
for me, it's
probably-
only for rain.
Probably pressure as well.
Low pressure systems, exactly.
Low pressure
yeah.
system, exactly,
Which can,
David.
that could have a lot to do with convection currents and things that can lead to serious wind issues or the formation of tornadoes, I guess, in Arizona. Or if you're
We don't really have tornadoes, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We have something called a haboob, which is like a giant dust storm from like Arrakis. It's pretty
Okay.
huge.
Wow.
Okay.
A haboob.
Oh, also, I didn't finish this, so I don't know. This was a weird thing I got into. So this is the nice part, and I'm like, hey, I could get a bunch of these for gifts for Christmas. But
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Here's the bad part. Trying to think of how long I've had this. Probably for over 6 months, but the bad part is this.
Oh, it's already torn off. Yeah.
It's already falling apart.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you get the gift, you're gonna think it's a nice gift, and by next year, you might be like, this thing is falling apart, but you'll still have all the cool things inside.
And it's not that expensive, so it's still a nice gift.
Yeah, exactly. My only thing is like, once it falls apart, can you still hold on to everything? Is it still?
Yes.
It's
They
just a
still
cover,
sell.
right? It's just
the cover kind of gets into the actual.
To it, yeah.
It kind of gets into the actual.
Right,
thing.
like I've
holding.
used like bands and hair ties to hold things together falling apart like that.
Yeah, that's true.
but you're better off getting a sealed container, especially if you go out camping or if you're going out places. Like you're gonna want to throw it in with like I put it with my medical supplies, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, so I ended up moving those what you consider grooming tools into my medical kit.
Well, how long are you camping for?
Not very long. I mean, I go on like week-long camping trips at best. I haven't really been on one in a while, but I still keep my equipment together. You never know. You know how people with the prepping, they have their bug-out bags.
Oh,
whether it's for some end of the world doom scenario or just simply like a natural disaster where you need a bag to grab and go.
Yeah.
I keep a little medical kit there. Very valuable supplies that could come in handy. Small, I'm always adding to it, working on it, but those are small tools, so it's easy enough to just kind of pack them away with a small kit.
Well, the interesting thing was I was really willing to pay $5 to $7 for the toenail clipper. It's probably called a cuticle clipper, but it's like bigger, so like if you've got like some thick toenails, you can like cut it with this.
You got to be careful with those though, because you can easily get hangnails with those.
Yeah. And then it's like they have this whole thing for $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a file.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
the file. So you give it the clip, but then you file the hangnails down.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess each of those tools are kind of used in a succession. You start clipping, you start cutting, you're filing, you're picking, and then before you know it, you've used every tool to get a finely groomed
toe or toes,
fingernails, whatever.
Yeah. But geez, yeah, this thing is. It's
seen better days, that's for sure.
Yeah, even just showing it to you, I kind of threw it out.
Well, you might want to just get rid of the cover and put all the stuff in like a Tupperware thing. Yeah,
that's true. And Lord knows I do have lots of little things that I saved that I could put it in. I don't know that I have something just this size, but I do have some old things that had like medicines in them.
Yeah.
I could at least fit the small ones. So yeah, what's going on? Anything interesting going on out there? Damien, you had some interesting banter about the racist Englishman who got knocked out on that video I posted to YouTube. Have you seen that, Raul?
No.
It's been going around. I'll probably add you guys to the group chat that we have going with the other folks that have been hopping on videos, but it was reposted there. But yeah, I really couldn't understand what that guy was saying, but I just know it was, I just know what I caught was like offensive and racist, and people were trying to warn him to like stop saying what he was saying. I don't know if he appeared drunk or what, but he was.
That's a funny part. I did watch it over after I saw Jason's comment, and I gave it a more thorough look, and he really didn't seem very drunk, but it's hard to tell with drinking because you can have functional alcoholics. Passenger on the train might notice because there would be a smell of alcohol. They would say, "Hey, listen, you're drunk. Cut it out."
Yeah, his attitude to me just seemed like that kind of person that's emboldened that way from drinking. I mean, who knows? I mean, some people are just like that, but to me, he reminded
Truth serum,
me. He reminded me of someone who's emboldened by it.
Yeah, funny enough, with the truth serum comment, it's like his GABA receptors could have been inhibited, which makes it hard to process emotions. So is it his true truth? We don't really know. There's definitely underlying issues.
You're right.
There could be some bad parenting and drug abuse in the past and the history. And there could have even been something that happened earlier that day or the day before. The point being, though, is this guy clearly was suffering from some serious perceptive disorderly conduct or misconduct. We could really just say misconduct. And even to point out that just the general disrespect is what led to the dishonorable outcome, we could say.
Yeah, and I would even say they gave him many chances to
Yeah.
chill out.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. He changes position from one side of the cart to the other because he's, he was receiving a lot of pressure from people saying, "Shut up," no one cares. I'm sure there was stuff that happened before those 4 minutes too. Perhaps he
Right.
said even worse things, and perhaps people stood up and said more. The woman tried very hard to reason with him, and his dismissive tone of, "Oh, you're very well educated. You're very well educated."
Oh, is
Truly,
that what he was saying?
kept saying, "Oh, you're so well educated." Yeah, it came off to me with a lot of condescension. He was very condescending.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps a part of him having some racial discrepancies. He may even have some gender discrepancies as well.
Yeah, they usually do go hand in hand.
Yes, yeah, no, exactly. The whole situation seemed like an interesting review on some of the social engineering issues that we have deteriorating society. We could call it a moral or morale decay assessment. The morals of society are decaying, and he would be a good example of where we can see, like, yeah, truly, this man's moral compass was off, askew, even, we could say.
Yeah,
How
well, I mean, it's I guess in the current administrations, we've been seeing more of these racist kind of people emboldened, to do this kind of stuff publicly, but not to say that we haven't had people, for centuries making public asses of themselves, like,
yeah.
being like racist.
It seems like a sport, to be completely honest with you guys.
Well, actually, that's funny that you say that, because it's in Damien, you caught a lot more than I did, because I honestly just couldn't understand what he was saying too much. I don't know what dialect that's considered in the English dialect.
There was
Ignoramus.
a skip to it. He kept something I found weird was he just kept yelling, "Oh, it's so popular! It's so popular!"
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, when you said it's like a sport, Raul, I was gonna say, yeah, he was treating it that way because he kept saying it's become popular to speak like this now or something.
That's the thing about what happened before those 4 minutes. I could assume that what he was saying, like, they were saying, "Hey, stop being racist, you bigoted racist prick," and he said he could be defending it, saying, "Oh no, it's popular to be racist now." That did seem like it. And then on the other spin, it's like because he snaps back at someone for defending the people he's trying to talk down to, like, "Oh look, she's defending you," and then he starts going off, "Oh, it's popular now," as if it were popular to be defending racial discrepancies. So whether he was saying it's popular to be racist or popular to defend racial discrepancies, I think the main takeaway there is kind of saying, like, a war on racism begets more racism, and then you have racists kind of coming up out of the woodwork because the language has been entered into society where it's acceptable to be racist in that way, and then unacceptable to the point where, like, your staunch defenses to it provoke it even further. So, like, what I noticed.
KD?
Hey, brother.
Hey, KD.
Something I noticed.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Yeah, we're just discussing the train video with the racist who gets cold-cocked for his misconduct. It was actually an interesting thing to relate to as someone who, myself, riding trains in the subway and the Long Island Railroad and seeing a lot of discrepancies get out of hand and escalate a little bit. And I notice a lot of times when someone's being ignored, like a drunken, belligerent person, they tend to diminish. They tend to kind of sit in their corner and go to sleep and go away. But when they start provoking people and people start saying things back or making comments, then it begins to escalate into another issue. And that's, one time in particular where I saw that happening, and I was able to make a quick threat assessment and even get a little head nod from a guy on the other side of the train who was another union worker. And we were able to actually handle this guy and literally toss him off.
Now, when you said he's another union worker, like a train, like someone who works for the trains, or?
No. In the morning train, so 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, when we're riding the subways, it's a lot of union workers that are meeting the job requirements there. This guy in particular identified himself as a union worker with the Carpentry Association because the drunk guy was making fun of his boots because they were dirty.
Oh,
So he went
okay.
on, a little pushback like, listen, these boots are dirty because I work every day. Like, who are you? And
Right.
then this is when I identified him as an ally. And
Oh, I see.
when he saw me take my glasses off, that was like a clear indication of like, if you want to do something about this, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit of that communal effort to do this safely. Because you could imagine when he first went to grab the guy, he had some resistance. But as soon as my hands got on him too, the guy
Yeah.
kind of went a little limp. He got a little scared. So the two of us together were able to toss him off the train at that stop.
Strength in numbers.
Enough, he didn't really get hurt.
Yeah.
As far as we could tell, and as drunk as he was, I'm sure being inebriated, he didn't take much fall damage. But for the most part, it was being able
So
to.
you guys literally tossed him, not even not even just like pushed him and he kind of
No.
like stumbled off. Like you literally like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air through this guy.
That's right, DJ Jazzy Jeff right out the door.
Yeah, literally. Like I actually, my grip was shirt collar and belt.
Oh
Loop.
wow.
Yeah, I had a shirt collar belt loop grab, and the other guy had the leg and the arm, and we just literally tossed him right out.
Did people on the train clap?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that was met with some applause. Yeah, that was definitely a much needed, warranted situation. Other situations have gotten a little more messy, but for the most part, that was a good example. And I just feel like if only people could have had that sense of community or had that sense of self-defense or confidence to address this guy before it escalated, something
Before
could happen.
he got punched, right?
But you know what? It was a lesson that needed to be learned. Like, you can't take away from that. Like, he literally makes the whole, like, come at me gesture. He literally asks them. It's not even just figurative. Like,
Yeah, that was kind of bugged out. You saw the video, KD, right?
Yeah.
You're still on mute, by the way.
Yeah, I did see the video.
Yeah.
It was I was wondering if he was alive, actually.
Yeah, I guess I didn't pick up on how dangerous that situation was. I just assumed he was okay, but I guess they were kind of taking a while to check him out, and I guess he wasn't really moving.
Yeah, that nerve there that's connected to the jaw is a critical hit, as we know from boxing. But more than anything, it's the turn of the head. And since his neck muscles are not very strong, you can kind of tell a little bit from his demeanor and lack of training. His brain rattled, and it definitely caught a double hit to knock him out. But more than anything was the second physical hit to the back of his head, which appeared to be right on that red pole. And that was the thing that made it a little more
on his way down. On his way down, you mean?
Correct. Yes.
On his way down. That's what made it scary for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because the back of the head is a soft spot. Actually, you could easily kill someone like that.
I'll have to watch it again. I guess I didn't. I guess
But,
I didn't catch the hit on the way down.
And the guy who kicks his arm kind of really does indicate that this guy is cold on the floor. At first people laugh a little bit. Oh, don't help the racist, don't help the racist. But I'm certain that medical attention got there to him as fast as possible. I'm sure that, I think that you can hear the conductor say something too, like, is there a problem? Is there a problem? And I think they very quickly, got the guy off. It could take, if there's cerebral bleeding, which does happen, even to trained professionals who fight, if there is cerebral bleeding within 5 minutes, he could be experiencing brain damage, and 10 to 15 minutes, he could be dead. So that would be an interesting follow-up. Again, I'm sure
that would be.
It's a lesson, regardless of how we cut this cake, to be learned, again, about family values.
Also, what you're saying, like, I mean, if you're saying he could have problems within 5 minutes, even if the conductor called someone, how long is it going to take help to get there?
Someone's knocking on my door real quick. Let me just go.
That could take a while before a professional.
Yeah, it's definitely a dicey situation.
Yeah.
Why? Unfortunately, the few racist things, they tend to approach my poor mother, who's a saint, and she never does anything to anybody. But the one guy I got my hands on, he was very sorry, but there was a time when my mother was just in Walmart shopping for whatever and talking to her friends, the cashiers, and this guy grabs her by the arm and says, "What? Let me see your ID. Are you legal?"
Oh wow.
If I
That's
had
some
been there, that
Arizona.
I would have.
That's
If
some
I had been
Arizona
there,
shit for real.
that's definite racist shit for real. And the thing is that they're cowards, right? They wouldn't approach me that way because
Sure.
they know what would happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they
that's fucked
approach
up, man.
my 70-year-old mother to attack her. It's unbelievable, and no
Yeah,
one
that's,
did
That's
anything, of
what's up.
course.
yeah, that's why we had to get Sheriff Arpaio out of there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy who won against him this time around for the Republicans is just as bad.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's no improvement there.
Yeah.
And besides, Sheriff Joe already had his victory because he corrupted the entire organization. It's going to take years for that to fix itself.
On the corrupt sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uncorrupted, or I don't know how would you put it, delouse it from the
delouse it.
racists.
Yeah, for real.
I thought Joey was going to join us. No? What did he say something?
No, I mean you know how our crowd is. You're you're the only one that shows up to class like on time every time.
You know why? Because Caribbeans are typically known to being late, so I can't have that reputation.
Oh, okay.
I try to fit it differently.
Well, yeah, Joey is definitely, you know, going against the WPT for real.
My showing today is sponsored by the world's worst drug known to man, nicotine.
Oh, yeah, cigarettes. If you were someone else, you'd be in dark mode to not promote it. But today's show, let's get
Well, yeah,
to
that's
it.
why I just gave that disclosure. I'm not promoting the cigarettes.
Right.
Yeah. And maybe even to just for people out there that do smoke cigarettes to look into some of the effects. Check out your acetylcholine receptors and the effects of nicotine on your acetylcholine receptors. We could talk more about it, but I just figured that's a cool thing to look up.
Yeah. Well, just briefly, what is that? What's like the 30-second rundown of acetylcholine?
Well,
receptors?
acetylcholine is used for cell-to-cell communication. It's one of your most basic, simplest form of cellular communications is the acetylcholines. And the acetylcholine receptor receiving it is what's interpreting cell-to-cell communications. Like when one cell says, hey, we need more potassium over here, sodium levels are off, they'll send a certain amount of acetylcholines to the receptors to tell one cell from another cell to bring those much needed chemical exchanges. And what nicotine does is it's actually blocking those receptors because it mimics the acetylcholine, but it is much larger. So this explains some of the instant pain-killing effects or stress-relieving effects is simply because it's stopping your body from actually interpreting the very real stress and the very real pain that it's experiencing. So it doesn't take it away so much as it blocks it. And this also speaks to some of the craving principles too, but that will be a much longer explanation.
Okay. So yeah, we were talking earlier about the about no more Dr. Fauci. Goodbye to Dr. Fauci. He's been thrown
He's been
off
sidelined.
thrown off the proverbial train, the Trump train.
In
Makes many
favor of a guy that
stops.
sells pillows.
Yeah, that's I mean, if Dr. Fauci sold pillows on the side, it wouldn't be a problem. But I doubt
I think
this
it'd be
other
popular.
guy. I doubt this guy has Dr. Fauci's, resume plus the pillows.
Yeah, no,
And they're not even and at the end of the day, they're not even good. They're not even good pillows.
no,
You said, right?
they're actually kind of crappy. But
Yeah,
and the guy is super creepy.
got rid of Dr. Fauci. I was saying they should put him on what is it? What is it? Meros and Dizo? How do you say their names?
Wait, is this guy? So this is Deepak Chopra?
No, Dr.
Oh,
Fauci.
okay.
Dr. Fauci.
The Pillow Man. I'm trying to see who the Pillow.
Oh, the Pillow Man is. Hold on a second.
Yeah, no, it'd be good to know. Because he's officially in place of Fauci right now, right?
Michael J. Lindell, CEO of MyPillow.
Michael Del J.
Michael J.
Lindell.
Lindell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's another nobody who's like
Huh.
doesn't deserve to be in that position.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. Yeah, I don't really see anything about.
So I assume he's not a virologist, probably not even a doctor.
That's a good. Let me look it up real quick. Let me find him.
Probably not.
No, he just seems to be a pillow inventor. So operated a small number of businesses, and he was a crack cocaine addict.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty wild. So there's no real requirements. The executive branch can just appoint people regardless.
Oh,
Well, they've been doing that since he's been doing that since day one. He's the king. He's the king of
like
that.
I remember he fired a bunch of people off the bat, cut a bunch of programs, but I figured there had to have been some kind of requirement to fill the positions. Interesting.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, wow. Now, see, I don't see anything about this guy in any of my usual searches. Can't really speak about someone I don't know, though, unfortunately. It's probably been one of my biggest struggles in some of these new political fields I'm stepping into, attempting to talk more about him, is I realize more than anything is I can't talk about people. I don't really know these people. And at best, I can get close to a few events that they're a part of. And really, above all else, I can talk about the ideas that get shared around them. But this new guy, I don't even see any ideas. I mean, like saying pillows, I'm kind of at a little bit of a mental block there where I guess like that's all we can talk about is him putting people to sleep or not putting people to sleep because he's got really bad pillows that make people stay awake.
They're just hot. You know what I mean? You ever they're like a little furnace that you sleep on. It's pretty terrible actually. Unless that's what you want. But he's from Minnesota, remember. So so that may be the actual feature of the pillow is to keep you warm, but in the desert it's not exactly a wise idea.
Right.
Except it can get cold here at night, but not as cold as other places for sure.
Right.
Because even Fauci has a very rich history and a very
Absolutely
long background of dealing with diseases and virology specifically, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
Raul was saying he's been around since the Reagan administration, so he's been here like the whole time. I mean,
he's worked for 6 presidents. 6 presidents. You know what that is?
That would be an interesting book. I hope he does do a little shit talking about the current administration now that
he seems kind of classy for me in my view.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be like Michael whatever.
Wolf.
No, the many Michaels that have formed employees of Trump that have books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Flynn is what I was thinking of.
Okay.
I noticed when I logged on, you guys opened up with a little mentioning of QAnon issues. And this was another situation where, like, I've had people mention this QAnon situation, and when I ask them questions about, you know, who, what, why, when, or where, They don't really give me very many answers. At best, they'll link me to like a site or a stream of
Yeah,
quotes.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. We're on
Yeah.
like, I don't know, on this platform. I mean, we could mention it quickly, but it's basically it's basically conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy nonsense is what
Yeah,
it is.
You know,
it's basically
I would say
nonsense. We don't really
I don't
care.
It's basically, Damien, it's basically the form that the right is actually the good guys all along.
You know
And
what? It's interesting you say that as a brief on it too, because when it was presented to me, I looked at the language. I'm all about words and language and
Mhm.
understanding the experience shared in language. And I just so happened to have been also looking into what's known as the Invisible Empire, which apparently is like the new KKK moniker, or like what they call themselves now. So when I was looking at these things, they had such similar language. It was bizarre. And I'm pretty
they're
good
trying
with
to appeal to the same people, Damien, so that's not
okay.
unusual.
Because to me, like I like to make poetry out of stuff, anything. I'll make poetry out of anything, but I absolutely could
Interesting.
not make poetry out of any of the QAnon stuff, and I couldn't do it either with any of the Invisible Empire stuff. And like, it's not even that it was like particularly bad or anything, but the way that it's encrypted just doesn't allow for self-expression to flourish. There's no blossoming components. It's very narrow. Some of it is a little cryptic, you could say. Like I'm saying, it's very encrypted, but there's just no positive, productive growth between the language, and it doesn't let me.
Well,
Be part of
there's plenty of association keywords, Damien, you'll find in the QAnon, the racist. I've been studying this since I was in college, and to see what is the common threads, and there's basically two types. There's the thugs that could care less what they're fighting about, but as long as they have something to fight about. And then there's the intellectuals, the David Dukes, who try and approach it as some sort of mysterious puzzle to unlock, which I see why it has potential to convert people, because the challenge is always a good thing. But when it's put towards a bad goal, it's it just everything. Intent is everything, and basically it matters what you're doing. It doesn't even matter how much it's expressed, or why it's expressed, or how it's expressed. It matters why you're doing it. So
yeah.
you'll find that the people that are involved in these movements fall very deep in the rabbit hole, and there's almost no way to get them out unless they want themselves.
Yeah, because talk about corrupting the youth. I mean, like you were saying,
Yes.
QAnon is really, I mean, you could accuse them of that. Same thing with this Invisible Empire stuff. One of the guys I watched that infiltrated the meetings, they caught like them putting 8-year-olds in robes, and 8-year-olds like they want to dress up, they want to do this. And I was just like, that seems like really bad to me. That sounds like, I like to say drug abuse and bad parenting are like a big problem when it comes to family values and communal equity. And the information that is broadly available, like anybody can just go look this up and see, like these cults, for what they're worth, are
Yeah.
damaging youth and culture.
And you
in
named it
general.
right. You named it right, calling it a cult, because basically it's a small group that has abhorrent ideas to the rest of society.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that no president or anybody has ever declared this a threat, because to me this does read as a threat. Like I would be nervous walking into an environment like this, and I'm not even like their target audience to scare, but I'm
Right.
walking in there and I'm looking for art, music, poetry, and comedy, and I don't see any art, music, poetry, or comedy there. So for me, to me, that's not a progressive environment, positive or productive. It's actually a destructive environment, digressing from our evolutionary process, in my opinion, if I were to state that on the matter. And I feel like that could stand to be
I
addressed.
just want to challenge you on one statement you said. I believe every president has addressed it.
Oh, they have.
I
Was it
believe
right?
every president has talked about corruption within government.
Oh, okay, yes. But specifically with the Invisible Empire, KKK, I've never seen them listed as a domestic threat.
I believe that those are people within government trying to
Come up the works.
just trying to divide citizens' minds.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, no, I mean, what he's talking about is what he's talking about.
QAnon, I believe,
KKK.
is part of Trump. Is part of the Trump administration.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
the whole purpose is that Trump is good. Trump is saving the country. That's the end message of what all they're saying. After all of the stuff that they're saying about everybody, at the end they're saying that's why Trump is good. Because he's against all this and he's saving the country. So I think that's a Trump administration. Somebody in his administration that's doing. Because all of their videos, most of their videos is in support of his administration. And if you watch the videos, they attack the Democrats. Like they say the Democrats are a pedophilia cult and they're kidnapping kids and drinking their adrenochrome out of their heads and all types of stuff.
Right, I've seen some of the adrenochrome comments.
You're getting a little bit quiet, Katie.
No, I said they claim that the Democrats are a pedophilia cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds.
They drink the adrenochrome and all that stuff. All that stuff is all attack on the Democrats. And to me, I just feel it's somebody in Trump administration doing that.
Yeah, I'm actually sure you're right.
Daddy kept fighting me.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well,
yeah. Go ahead, Damien.
No, I was going to say not much to look further into at the moment, but definitely something to keep in mind as a threat to, corruption of the youth, and that they share a similar language. So I just wanted, I know you guys opened up with a little bit of that. I figured it was good to kind of go back and address that a second. But yeah, no, this is
Oh, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it's something, because once you declare a domestic or national threat, I mean, now you have a language to actually approach it.
Yeah, absolutely agree on that.
No, what you were saying about the fact that the KKK has never been addressed as a terrorist group, that's definitely